All right, we are live. So good evening and welcome to another episode of Nick's Knowledge and Notions NQ Science Series, brought to you by the Seven Spheres of Money in Duransburg International. I'm Nick Westbrooks, and as you see, I have another powerful guest with me. In a few minutes, I'll introduce her. But first, I'll kick it over to my co-host, DJ the Money Coach, Mr. Seven Spheres of Money himself. So how's everything going, DJ?
Man, everything's great, man. I didn't know I was the co-host. I thought I was just the complimentary appetizer. That's all. Everything's going very well, Nick.
Good. Great to hear. So, like I mentioned, we have a special guest in the building, Miss TaNeshia, the Legacy Builder Reed. And, you're going to learn all about who she is and what she does. She's another elite Howard University alum, just like myself. you know. So that's how we're connected. And maybe I'll tell the story about how we met, in a few minutes. But TaNeshia, thank you for joining us and welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Great. So, TaNeshia, why don't you just give us an overview of who you are and what you do, and then we'll get into the specifics of your backstory and how you got to where you are now.
So my name is TaNeshia Reed. I'm the legacy builder and the owner of Long Fall Life. And what we are is an insurance brokerage that services owners inside of the trucking industry. So our purpose is retirement planning and business succession.
All right.
All right. Looks like we might have to be talking to her, man, on this project.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure. I was thinking about that too. Thinking about DJ, just thinking about that. That whole never eat alone concept that we've been discussing over the past few weeks, and she definitely exemplifies that. That's something that we definitely been practicing, for sure. So I'll start off with my funny story of how I met TaNeshia on campus at Howard, and we'll spend a few minutes, talking about our Howard experience. So TaNeshia, I don't know if you remember this, but the first time we met was the National Society of Collegiate Scholars date auction. That was the first time we met. We were both being auctioned off that evening.
Oh man, y'all auction block.
Yeah, that's when we met, and I think that was maybe about in 2010, so about 10 years ago, I think.
Don't say that.
Yeah, you surprised I remember that.
Who won the highest bid? Who made the most money? That's what I want to know.
Nick made the most money.
Oh nah, I only made about $10, so definitely wasn't me. Definitely wasn't me.
That's crazy. Well, my story is about I will never, ever let you forget how important what you did for me. I will shoot that to the mountaintops every time I get. This man gave me $1,000 in college so that I could finish my semester. Like, wow. Yeah, the most selfless. I think that's the most selfless thing anybody's ever done for me. So every time it comes up on Facebook, because Facebook reminds you of the anniversary, I make sure I show him every single time, and I have to back to definitely because that meant so much to me to be able to finish my college experience because of him. So,
wow, man, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was a good dude.
Fired up, man. Great stuff.
I don't know how I had this money in college, but I was broke to go. But even money fixes forever. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, well, it's funny you mentioned that because this is the Seven Spheres of Money. So let's just say my family and I didn't make the smartest decisions when it came to when it came to money. You know, when it came to taking out those loans and having that extra money for those refund checks. You know, so you know now I'm kind of paying for that now, but you know that's another topic for another day.
My whole thoughts about college education. Now I will never forget the experience you get at Howard University. Like I will never live it down. But my kids are not going to college. I was like, create the path for us. I feel like you learn way more by experience than you do going to school. Now I feel like it molded us as people to understand who we are and our value. But what I do, I was in film. I'm in finance right now. Like, you can work your way up in film and your ranking. I know my purpose is bigger, and to create generational wealth, I need multiple streams, and an entrepreneur is really dope. So they teach you how to manage other people's businesses, but experience and maybe getting a mentor of some sort is will get you to grow.
Right. Yeah, we had similar stories because my background was in, yours was in film, mine was in broadcast journalism, and now, of course I'm working in education now, but I'm also working in the financial education business too. So, look at that. We got something in common there. So why don't you give us the story of how you went from film and then made that transition from film to finance and why?
So I've done everything under the sun, from a personal trainer to a real estate agent to multi-level marketing, you name it. I've kind of put my toe in it because I was like, I want to be wealthy. Like, I just feel like I'm called to bring generational wealth to my family, and I'm going to change the trajectory of my family. So went to Atlanta thinking I was going to the film industry, got my master's in entertainment business, and jobs were not knocking on my door. They were not searching for me, highest bidder, because of my extra degree. Didn't happen. So I was trying to look for job opportunities in marketing because I was like, I have all these skills. I've been on the radio, I've been for TV, I've wrote for newspaper before. How can I some all this stuff? Marketing was just as hard to get into as film. And I was like, well, if I'm an entrepreneur, I have to do my own marketing anyway. So I transitioned to just being an entrepreneur. And then, funny, I got a text message saying free food and wine. And those are my two favorite things. So I went to the seminar, and they were talking about financial literacy. And actually, specifically talking about an IUL. And I was like, dang, I was just about to pay this guy to set me up on a few months before. But now you guys can teach me how to do it. Well, I was like, sign me up. Well, the only way that I can make the money to do what they do, and I was like, my people need this information to get my license and insurance. So I did it in 10 days.
That's fired up. The Index Universal Life. Fixed annuity product. That's good stuff. So Tyler Perry didn't hook you up in Atlanta, huh?
No, he ain't. No. Girl, you know what I'm saying? So,
man,
I wouldn't be here today.
So how did you get specifically in the truck financing business? Because that's a very niche industry, which we have to be in ourselves.
It's so niche that I'm the only person that anybody has come across who's doing it for trucking. I wanted a piece of the industry, and I've been thinking about getting in trucking for a couple of years now, being a dispatcher. Okay, I can work from home, do this, and I can do this business and this business at home. And the idea of that was awesome. But then once I got into insurance, I was like, instead of switching and learning the whole new industry, why don't I just serve the industry? Because it's so much money. It's an $800 billion industry. And it's like, I just need my peace. I'm not doing it all. I just want my peace. So I was like, well, I can still educate in that realm. And when I went and did my market research, found out that I have no vision. I don't know anybody who's doing this. You know, they might have it a piece, but what I'm doing is what a lot of people do for corporations. I'm doing it too.
Oh, man. That is awesome. Yeah, that's a burgeoning business. I mean, we work with truck drivers on a regular basis, especially for you to know that industry specifically and owner-occupied truck drivers, and most of these people coming out putting 1, 2, 3, trucks on the road, doing the dispatch, part with the changes in the laws that began going from analog to digital. I think it was in 2018. I mean, that industry is wide open, especially for black women truck drivers as well. I presume, do you have a lot of black women truck drivers as clients?
You will be in awe of how many female black truck drivers there are. I'm in a group, she's fucking, I think over 10,000 women in there.
Are you associated with the Women in Trucking organization?
I'm not, but I will look into it.
Are you familiar with them?
I've heard of it, but I haven't looked into it.
Okay.
Well, my strategy has been going after people who have really big followings on Instagram, because this is something that seems like it's just hot right now. So to actually see people learning about trucking online, it's transitioning the industry a lot. And I know one of the things is the problem that they're having is driver retention. So now I actually did a video recently on my Instagram where I'm discussing how you can retain your drivers just by showing you care. So coming and hiring me and saying, hey, look, we have somebody who can come here and set your retirement plan. But especially if you're an entrepreneur, your retirement plan isn't already set in stone because you have to create it yourself. And your business can't be it because this is your bankrupt every day. It's a really bad plan. It is a lifestyle that you want for yourself and see for yourself because you got into that industry for a reason. It's a lot of money, but if you don't plan for that every day, you can't fail. And that money can go just as quickly. So for me coming in and doing the retirement plan is a way to entice your drivers. Another way is if the business owner decides that they're going to take out a policy on the truck drivers or any key person that they have, what they can do is say, I'm going to take a policy out on them and I can make a promise to your family that I'll give them a percentage of the death benefit as an incentive to stay in on with us. These policies often have living benefits on them. So you get a heart attack, stroke, cancer, ALS, and organ failure. There will be a payout of an accelerated death benefit to the company, and you can make a promise to the employer. Look, we can give you a portion of this while you guys get back on your feet, while you're getting well, and then you come back from the visits. And the third way is if they decide to go ahead and get a policy for themselves, you can pay them a bonus and have that bonus be allocated to paying the policy. Now, because it's additional money, it will have an income tax on it. So you can give them a double bonus to say, hey, here's the money for the taxes for that bonus as an incentive to keep your drivers on. So I think that's the option.
Oh, man, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what are your primary instruments that you utilize? And when you have truck drivers that have a fleet of drivers, do you implement key man policies, workers' comp, or you just utilizing IULs?
Mostly you're not utilizing IUL, but it's key man. You can use the IUL or you can use the term policy. I prefer IUL because you manipulate cash value, especially if the person decides they just want to leave. You can benefit from the fact that they left to take the cash. So when the policy takes cash, if they're key to your operation, they know all your intellectual property. So getting a policy on them, you have to think about not what you're paying them, but what is the profit that they're going to use for the business. And if you have to replace them, how is that going to affect your business? And then you don't have to pay for the operational cost if you're using that life insurance policy.
Are you also using those as income interruption policies as well?
Yeah.
For drivers when they get sidelined due to diabetes, hypertension, since it's a pretty sedentary lifestyle that these truck drivers,
So the only way that it'll help is having those type of elements if it affects their daily living activities. So it has to be two of those missing in order to do that. So with life insurance, the only way that it's going to happen is that case. So it's not like that.
Okay. How many states are you licensed in?
I'm curious. It's funny you asked that because I'm in the process. By next week, I should be licensed in Maryland, DC, um, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, and Texas.
Okay, so you will be licensed in Texas?
I will be. I just literally just paid for Texas. I already got approved for. No. I'm approved for both. So I just got licensed in Texas today.
Okay.
For business and personally. Got to pay for both.
Does your business require you? Well, I'm pretty sure it does, but I'm asking anyway. It requires you to cover E&O insurance?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Pay for that every month.
Okay. All right. That's cool. Yeah, it might be some things we could talk about because like I said, we do financial education for truck drivers, owner operators, and we also have platforms to actually introduce them to vendors as well. Have you attended any of the major truck conferences in order to generate leads like MATS in Louisville, Kentucky, or the major convention in Dallas in August? Are you familiar with those as well?
No, I just switched everything over to trucking 2 months ago.
Okay.
So not that. And then first in the middle of COVID. So I've been through a couple of things in Atlanta. Atlanta after the shut down. I just moved back to Maryland from Atlanta. Probably need to go back. But I went to a couple of events out there. But other than that, everything.
Okay. So what percentage of your clients are women, and what percentage of them, look like us in this industry? And what do you see for the? I think it's like you say, it's a fad, but it's a trend for logistics because it's not going anywhere. But I see more and more women getting involved in the access to a lot of people who have had felonies or things like that. It's one of the only industries you can get in and without a clean background and make real good money and be legitimized.
Right, and it's funny you say that about the felonies because that's one of the harder things to do and cover is the felonies because most people don't realize that 5 to 10 years they're looking for you to be off of probation before they really cover you in a lot of cases. So I have a workaround for just getting coverage just to have coverage, but I can't do your retirement plan or special plan until you're 5. Depending on the company right now, most of them are 10 years out of probation. So what I do is I'll give you an accident policy because I'll pay you down by accident or higher or stuff. And then I'll do a critical illness supplement policy that will, if you get a heart attack, for example, they will same things that are the living benefits, but they'll pay you not only if you die from the illness, but only if you get the pay. So that's the one of the hard things for me is because that's one of the reasons why I got into trucking is like it allows for our people to be able to not have a whole lot of education. You invested in yourself already and you just made a mistake and decided I want to change my life insurance. But with our women, I got a lot of women, I'm only going after us, our people. Anybody, I'm not turning anybody down, but I got to look for everything our people doing, sustaining our businesses. And in the case that we decide that we're going to affect or resolve the business, make sure you have to get the business back.
So which part of the industry is most attractive to you and got you fired up? I mean, because I'm hearing a lot of people starting to get more interested in the dispatch side of the business, as far as just doing the driving. And I think the dispatch is because they see it as less work and they think it's highly more profitable. What's your perspective on that?
Definitely see most of it. That's why I do a lot more women. It's because everybody is going through Lady Logistics, Gold Star Logistics. They have these followers, Trucking Guru. Haven't met her yet. Hopefully, the shout out gets to her. But they have these tribes where these women are going into the business with their owners, and it's often the insurance is not as high, liability wise, and things like that. But it allows for ownership to be there without them having to get a truck. But being able to see these women who are doing that and have their CDL license too. But I like my lane. I like being able to touch them all because I'm working with inside any type of owner in the business and how do we sustain
it. What's the capacity in terms of value? What's the cap for you? work with like Fortune 1000 logistic companies or just small mom and pops? What's your range and your specific sweet spot inside the industry itself? Like for me, I generally deal with professional middle class America, somebody that has liquid income of $125,000, assets, under $500,000. That way, that keeps me right in the expertise that they don't have enough liquid assets that Charles Schwab and Goldman Sachs are interested in, but they got too much education that Raymond James wouldn't be of interest to them. So I found that niche. What's your niche in this industry as it grows? And if I'm looking to get into the industry, what would be your recommendation on the easiest way to get into the industry that will give me long-term success?
Mm-hmm. So my niche is about the same as far as I'm even talking to people who are just starting, but I kind of just pass them on so that they can come back to me once they're already. But I have partners who, I have a lady who she's known just for compliance. I have one who sets up the businesses. So I'm kind of passing them on to get started. But I'm also working with people who have 3 businesses inside of the trucking industry alone. Like I have one who she's a broker and has an extension that's a dispatch. And then she also has her own fleet. And then she also has, I think that she has the vehicles that carry the construction vehicles. Like,
Okay.
she's killing. So that is about, I keep coming across with like 3 businesses inside of the industry. Now they're all growing, but their vision is to get to that. That's our main.
Say that again.
I said, what was your other question? I start rambling.
The last question was, how would you recommend people getting into the industry? What direction should they take to get long-term success versus, everybody want to get the bag quickly? But the long-term
mentorship. Like go through a mentorship program that has, get you a mentor so you can buy their mistakes. Get like, for instance, the Trucking Guru has Tribe, the Trucking Guru Tribe, where they're all leaning on each other and they hold them accountable, they're taking their stuff, and it's kind of like we're all bouncing information and using each other as a resource. But you're not out there swimming alone. Like you don't want to get out there, especially get in a truck and just fail. So get you a mentor. I always believe in paying for other people's mistakes because you don't have to dump your head with that.
Definitely investing in your education. So if I wanted to get into the industry and do exactly what you do, what would be the right pathway for me to pursue in addition to mentorship, and what conferences or organizations should I be aware of to get plugged into? I think that's one of the hardest problems, especially if you're doing this from an entrepreneurial standpoint.
I don't have a mentor. I don't have a mentor. There's nobody doing what I do. So all I'm doing is going straight to the company and asking them the right questions, asking them how to even write these policies, what are the different options. I got a lady that's inside the company now that I got her direct number. I'm like, look, I need to lean on you because they're the ones who actually write it. Oh, I write it, but they're the company that actually produce the system. So I'm going straight to the source. And so to tell you how to get into the industry, I'm creating my own systems literally. Like,
okay, so you're creating a system of how to. So you're kind of operating like your own FMO. Is that the general idea, dealing with the FMO to the IMO, to the general populace?
Basically, because I'm going through an IMO, because that's how I get paid to be able to broker. That's how I'm able to use multiple companies. Right. But I don't, of course, talk to nobody but the companies themselves. But you know how it goes. If you don't have a certain volume of with a specific company, then you can't get the contract directly. So I actually like that because I don't want to be subject to just writing with the company. But yeah, so what I'm doing is that, and I also built my team. Like I have 2 accountants I'm trying to expand, so that when they meet their buy-sell agreements, I have my attorney. He has 4 law degrees, black man, 4 law degrees. I always forget about the other 2. But he has a business and he also has a tax law degree. So I have him on my team as well.
He's a tax attorney as well?
Oh, yes.
Okay. And with a specialty in the logistics or just small business enterprises alone as a tax attorney?
Small business enterprise. He does anything, non-logistics. he's done somebody in the gifted, but he
At the end of the day, you can create your own FMO eventually, is what you're on the road to do. I would see as your in destination.
Yeah, I'm a little afraid of that, but yeah.
You're afraid of it? I mean, that's what you got to be doing. I mean, to cut out the middleman and just deal directly with the supplier
You're
as
right.
a wholesaler is the FMO relationship.
I'm gonna say what the Lord sees fit. See, it all started with, I'm tired of buying leads.
Right.
I want people to come to me because of the content that I provide and that they trust me.
Right.
Buy the content and that they're getting good information and they'll just do good for me based off of that. That's how it started.
Mm-hmm.
This whole me getting a couple, like all these different state licenses, and I didn't see it going there. You know what I'm saying? So it was just like, look, I don't know anybody want to leave. Look, let me start pushing up some content. And I was like, can I create another? I got a marketing consultant that was like, my company really is the life protection agency, and my DBA is Law for Life, because all my everything that's registered is through my regular life insurance business, and I decided to switch over and create a niche. And she was like, nobody's gonna know what you do or who you work for. So now I have a truck that I wear everywhere, so people think I drive trucks. That's cool. Think that, but it starts the conversation. And now I'm like, okay, so now we're switching to that. So now I'm going to, it just is growing quicker than I think, and that's why I kind of step back just to create my systems so that when people really start coming, it's in place. So that could be very well the vision. I just,
Yeah.
If you're not scared, it's the vision is big enough. So,
because at the end of the day, like I was saying before, you want to become the connect directly with the wholesaler, the actual underwriter of the policies, because that's basically where the most of the money is made at the end of the day. Because as you start to do your back office, who handles your back office compliance part of your regular insurance business? You farm that out as your broker handles that for you, and you pay them a percentage.
Well,
your ISOJ.
Yeah, I'm under an IMO, so that side I just pay for my E&O, and every time I do license, I haven't had any arbitrations or anything that's worth out.
So they scrub all your policies and everything for you for a percentage?
They just scrubbing no policies when they go to underwriting. That's what the scrub is.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. When you go to underwriting, you have certain parameters that make sure that the first time it's submitted, it doesn't come back, and then you don't have to
I don't have
things of that nature. That's benefit of a great, back office organization.
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't have those issues. I haven't had those issues yet because I don't have a team to even have to worry about that just yet. I just know I call beforehand and I don't write bad business. So I go and call the place.
So since you said you don't write bad business, I've been in this industry a long time, 20 years. So what are the prerequisites that you set up that actually avoids those from happening? Because once you've been in the business long enough, there is going to be some type of chargeback that happens. But you set it up where
the chargeback isn't bad business. Chargeback is the name of the game because people decide they want to run. I mean, bad business.
I would say yes and no. To me, a chargeback is bad business if I didn't qualify the person properly. So for me now, just writing, good clients, 720 credit scores, money in the bank, I don't have to worry about them ever not able to pay their premium. Now, if it's a physical that they got to take, that's something different, in terms of getting that done. But on the money side, that's why I want to be, because based on a lot of your policies that are written, there's a certain percentage that has to meet like 85 to 90% approval rate so that you don't have to get any chargebacks, so that you can get the highest contracts. So like, for instance, now, and you're probably at this level too, or on the precipice of it, where everything that I write, I haven't written an insurance policy. I'm licensed myself, has been for a while, but everything that I would personally write my pen, it's 125% payout to me. But that wasn't the way it was when I first got into business. Because when you first get into business, starting out, it's 35, 50%. And then as you start building up those,
depends who you with.
Well, yeah, that's true too. But
I've been to a couple of different companies I vetted out, and I was like, and they make it seem like oh yeah, that 30% was cushioning, and you find out it ain't no money.
No, that's not any money at all in any regard. But that's one of the things by you not being a restricted agent and having that IMO relationship. So like I said, you have a niche, like you said, is unique inside the industry itself. You create a FMO and then have that straight go-to supplier, your even bonuses and incentivization on the marketing side. Because it used to be when I first got in, we used to get 1 to 2% of every dollar that we write in return as a refund on the marketing side. But like they do in the position industry, they started to get so much of a surplus to paying out to agents that they cut back on some of those things. So now you have to be a little bit more creative when you do that and get better terms up front. And that FMO relationship enables you to have that. So I would encourage you to look at that. Even though it might be daunting and afraid, but as you begin to grow bigger and you bring those agents underneath your level and where you're writing less, it'll be a lot more profitable. And also it'll give you an exit strategy to sell your business in terms of your receipts, your accounts receivable. You can sell 5-10x of those writable policies that are on your books. And that's that's one of the ways that you can grow faster as well. So that
offline about that because I'm intrigued.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, I've forgotten more stuff than I've done in the past few years.
Oh, you just need to warm yourself up a little bit.
I'm trying to continue to maintain that pom-pom lifestyle. Plenty of money and peace of mind, no headaches.
Hey, love it. Where are you located?
I'm located in Texas right now.
Oh, okay. What part?
Outside of Houston.
Everybody's in Houston. I gotta fly them. That's who my marketing consultant is.
Okay.
And it's I got a guy out there right now who does commercial insurance.
Well, in reference to any type of insurance, the 3 biggest states the people want to grow in is Texas, Florida, and California. They might want to get away from California now because of the liberalism, but Texas and Florida are gold mines. And the reason why is that a lot of corporations are moving here now. The tax, state no income tax, and then the friendliness of a real republic, democracy makes it more attractive for business owners. That they treat business owners with first preference over customers, and even on the real estate side, eviction processes go just like that. They favor the owner. So that's why you'll probably see a lot more people in Texas on a big tip. I mean, you got Tesla just came here, and you got Amazon that created a huge hub here, and a lot of the motor industries, obviously the oil and gas industry as well. So, and the truck driving business is massive here. So, I mean, the corridor, and like Nick and I are working on a project right now for a truck depot that will have 500 trucks a day, landed on our spot. That's why when I looked at your background, we always looking to say, hey, we never want to eat alone, and we want to parlay, and especially when you have you're a 2-for-1, which you're a Black woman and you get the minority destination. We go ahead and just slay down a whole bunch of opportunities. The sky's the limit if you're thirsty and hungry and ambitious.
Absolutely.
So that's very intriguing. So I'm excited. I mean, to know that you got a niche inside of a niche, man, that's amazing. Kudos to you. And if you start to mentor people that look like us as well, I think 10 years down the road, you probably could have $100 million business.
Yeah, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk offline. I love it. Yeah, that's.
Oh yeah. That women's in trucking organization is one you definitely want to tap into because they're adamant about promoting people like you. And then with the other Black women truck drivers and the other ones that are doing dispatch, if they knew somebody out there was like you, your business probably would grow 3 to 5x just from getting the exposure from those people alone. That's been my experience in the short time I've been in the industry doing financial education. So Nick, I've been asking way too many questions. You should be quiet over there, man. So don't let me be chatty.
So I can tell that you've been here before, so he knows your passion just ran all through there. Like,
Yeah, exactly. See, I know I be knowing what I'm doing when I put these things together. I know DJ has that insurance background. I know that's your niche. So I just let y'all go in and do your thing, because the only IMO I know is in my opinion. So I don't know. I don't know what y'all talking about. So I just let y'all go ahead and go in there. I'll just come with some general things, to get you warmed up, get you loosened up, and then I'll let y'all go in. So I guess to tie things back together. Sounds like you have a lot of things to look forward to. So is there anything specific that you're working on, or that you're excited about, that you're looking forward to, that's coming up?
So this is partnerships that I'm starting to grow. I love collaboration, because for me, I feel like, especially when we're all kind of starting from the ground up, it's like you said, in 10 years, where are we going to be at? And creating these relationships are just so dope. And one of them, the client said, she'd actually want to start a class of us, just doing these panel discussions once a month. So every other month, and I'm going to be a part of that. So I'm really excited about that. This is my 4th podcast this week, even though the second one has been seen. So I feel like I'm about to, it's coming, like my blow up is coming. A little nervous. So like I said, I'm just creating my structures and me getting my different licenses. Like, I want to take over the whole East Coast, and if God sees fit to spread from there, then I'll
So you see the East Coast as underserved industry right now?
I believe so. See, for Black people, I feel like that's where we're winning at. We're all up and down the East Coast. So, because I was driving, I used to live in Atlanta, I was like, I travel all the way through there. I could start knocking on doors. How it wasn't here right now. I'm a door knocker. I like to see people face to face. I like to touch people, feel people.
So how has COVID affected your business or not? Since you said you're a door knocker and just weren't able to do as many of those, how have you navigated that pathway to actually increase your business, or where you are in lines to that effect of COVID? Because you got to meet the people to make the contacts, to make the relationships, but COVID has prevented some of that. How do you navigate that and actually create the new norm in that regard to help you continue to grow and hit your goals?
So COVID has actually switched me to this niche. COVID had me to have a chance to step back and say, this is the niche I'm going to create. So I started the year off doing final expense, trying to find people speaking to annuities. But if you're in a country area in the South where they don't have 401ks and they on fixed income, and because of COVID, they like, my money real tight, and I don't know what else I may be able to get. Your numbers start to decline. People don't want to be with you because they're elderly, and so they don't have access to Zoom, or they don't want to figure out how to get on Zoom. So I was like, I need to be able to continuously make money, and the only thing that's operating right now nonstop is the trucking industry. It don't matter what happens to the economy, there's trucking around, and I need to keep. So I actually switched to this industry because of that. I've been actually in 2 networking events since this has happened, but they were in Atlanta, of course.
Okay.
And then everything else has been me just be sitting back and be able to, with a clear mind, create content so that those people can come find me.
Okay. So you saw the advantages to move out of Atlanta back to the East Coast, or why not just stay in Atlanta where you made the initial contacts to get into this industry?
Because I didn't make those contacts yet when I first started.
Okay.
And then I moved back home because Daddy said, you just want to come back home for a little bit. And I just want to be around people that I feel like do care about me during this time. Because COVID, like, psychologically has really messed some people up, not being able to have constant contact with people and things like that. So it actually was really good for me because I was actually able to step away from my responsibility to actually create my system. Because when you're one hustle bustling, you need to make that money to pay those bills and be in line with everything. It's a little harder to do that and focus on the systems behind it when you're not making the money right now, in order to create the system. So, I'm ready for it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. A lot of people with the COVID are feeling disconnected, from family and that support that you need, and the intangibles that you can't measure, but it has an adverse effect on you from a psychological standpoint. I get that a lot. So yeah, that makes absolute sense. So I'm glad to see that you were able to go from one industry and figure out that one was better, and that's where the lemonade comes from. And hopefully other people can find that way as well. So as a black woman and an entrepreneur, what are some of the challenges that we can help other young black women entrepreneur eliminate by taking your experience and creating that wisdom to help them move down the road? And is that part of the system we're going to incorporate to help those people that are behind us to pay it forward?
So, being true to who you are and being yourself. Sometimes you have to put on a face, and especially when you're dealing with trying to grow people's trust, you have to be genuine with you, and you have to understand either they're going to do this with you, or they're not. You don't like me, or you're not. You don't see my value, or you won't. And not to change who you are because of it. Because something that I was dealing with was I went to for communication, so I know how to put on and to have the proper posture and make you feel like I was doing broadcast and I'm very articulate and stuff like that, but that's not who I am. I'm real chill. Sit back. I want you to feel me like I'm the homie because I have to buy your trust because usually the life insurance is very hard to sell on the phone.
Right.
I usually come to your house and sit in your living room.
Right.
And you watch a show with you and sit there and break bread and maybe have a drink with you.
Those people are very finicky. Drug drivers are very finicky.
Right. So now I have to not only be on the road, but now I have to get your attention immediately, and I also need to buy your trust beforehand. So I haven't even I don't even flood people to do consultations with me. I've been flooding people to my Instagram so that you can hear. I know what I'm talking about. I think you feel like you can trust me. You feel like I'm personable, and be able to say I'm real. Because I know everything about you when I finish your consultation. I know if you ever had a felony. I know if you ever had any health illness. I know about your mom. I have your social security. I know everything about you by the end that you have to trust me before. You know what I'm saying? Like George said, we're some powerful people. You know what I'm saying? We hold a lot, and those licenses that we have are real. So I'm all about being upfront, being honest, being transparent. And for me, it's knowing how to balance. Because sometimes I can be a little ratchet, you know what I'm saying? But I want you to look at me different. That's who I am. I might play some WAP and I might play a gospel song right afterwards. You know what I'm saying? I need you to feel me though. You know what I'm saying? So branding has been a big thing for me. How do I identify my brand? How do I make sure so that you can trust me, that you feel like I'm knowledgeable, but then still feel like she's real and relatable? Because one life insurance policy isn't it. Like, this is a lifetime thing. We keep changing as things grow in your business, in your family, your assets. We keep writing. You know what I'm saying? And you got to trust that I know what I'm talking about. You got to trust that I have the best interest at heart at the time. So, biggest thing is branding and knowing to speak for yourself.
That's true. That's true. That's good stuff, man. That's nuggets right there, Nick. Serious nuggets.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Maybe I should have went to Howard University. I went to time because it was like, man, every time you bring on one of these sharp Howard people, man, I'd have missed something. I guess I shouldn't have went to what they call a PWI. Is that what they call primarily? I'd have missed out, man.
Yeah. TaNeshia, if you didn't know, you're the third one on. You're the third, Howard person.
Okay, I'm a bison baby. I'm like a Howard girl now.
We're gonna have to call this the subtitle, the Howard Nick's Notions. I love it. man, yeah, I'm fired up. If I could be fortunate to get my one of my children to go to Howard, I'd be excited. I honestly didn't know how tight, you guys are. I mean, I've known many of people that have gone to historically black colleges, universities, but I haven't heard that camaraderie like I've seen with the people that Nick has brought on. And this is just keeping it real. And it's usually, a lot of them are kind of bougie, but you guys are pretty down to earth.
And they think that we bougie. They be thinking that,
right. I mean, that's the first thing that came to my mind, that you're bougie, kind of like.
But we have the right to be bougie because we got a vice president in the house, okay? Now, but you can agree with what she stands for now, I don't know, but she went to Howard, okay? So she's over from bougie before. We can walk around with our chest out like this everywhere.
I will say though, there was definitely some of those folks at Howard too. I won't act like they were.
You probably just didn't hang out with them. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Like-minded people talk with like-minded people.
Well, don't change when you go to Howard. That's what I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be putting things. I can be hood, a little hood rich, but I can also put on too. Give me a set of heels, I'm a change.
I love it. That's great. That's great stuff, man. Dude, I could ask you a million questions, but we definitely got to connect outside of this venue here, because there's actually a lot of stuff that we can actually tie you into, at least worst case scenario, introduce you to some people that are already in the industry and been in there for a while. And I think with the project that we're working on that's about to close, that it could be a value add in your industry to build more to your platform, and then it actually would just it create a win-win opportunity for everybody across the board. I mean, that's amazing. So yeah, man, this is fired up. This is one that was really in the wheelhouse on business and in the trucking industry and entrepreneurship, and seeing the fact that you have the ability to actually change right away and not get locked in. And one thing you see people in entrepreneurship, they'll start in a business and then they won't let it go when it's not working because they felt they put so much in it. But the fact that you're able to make a quick decision, say, hey, I'm going from final expenses to something that's paying in a down market, that's wise beyond your years, because it's hard to do that. It's hard to make that commitment because you're emotionally tied into it versus financially. And you got to look at the logical versus the emotional to stay above, board at all times. So I commend you in the sharp decisions you made, and you picked a great industry, especially for women, and specifically, especially for Black women. It's up and coming, big time. Make sure you record everything you're doing, document everything you're doing, get your system down, and then get your system out there, because there's a ton of people that want to do what you want to do. And like you said, it's a matter of, having a little trepidation, that just fear, false evidence appearing real. But all that goes to the wayside because no one's done it. And before you know it, you're the expert in your industry and everybody's coming to you. And then now you be too popular to talk to us. So you might have to just get some sandbags and put around your ankles, Tanisha, and hold you down.
Hold me down, right? No, never. And that's one thing I pray for is humility through it all. Because I remember being at Howard, and my dad gave me $40, and he's like, "That's all I have." And I cried that day. I was like, "Yo, we really going through it right now." But I made that. I've used $20 for transportation back and forth, and $20 to get some dollar food, some oodles and noodles, some frozen pieces. I know how to make some stretch now, so I don't ever want to forget that where I started from, and that's why I want to help as many families as possible to create this generational wealth.
Wow, that's awesome. Can you elaborate a little bit on that? I mean, because a lot of times when people get interviewed and they see this finished, polished product, they don't know that backstory. And a lot of times in our community, our backstory is so similar. We're not coming up the way, your VP elect came up. That's fantasy land, which we all wish to have, the access to all those resources. And then we can, change the narrative at our discretion to paint the story for people to vote for us. That's another topic. But in reality is, when I think of, elite institutions like Howard, I think of the cream of the crop people going there. I don't think of people who had struggled to get there. So your story is a lot more approachable and it's relatable. And how do we navigate through that to stay on point to not come out? Because when I went to school, I partied my way out of my first college. And, you know, finances, socializing, all that stuff just hit you at once. And the money is tough in of itself, but then the psychological stuff. So how did you navigate through that and stay on par, graduate from Howard, and keep your head straight?
Well, for me, I knew that we didn't have the money for me to mess up. You know what I'm saying? The only I've never been a partier. Like I've been to parties and college stuff like that, but I was so focused on internships.
Okay.
And the crazy part is, I should have partied. Because what they don't tell you is the network is so. If you want to go, if my kids are to go to college, it's not to learn how to build business. It's about learning how to network.
Wait. Say that again. That's a huge nugget. We talk about that all the time. Biggest secret is about going to college. And here's the funny thing. College was originally created for Caucasians to do primarily what you said, to get blue bloods with blue bloods to keep the money in the family. It wasn't about learning the ABCs and Ds of, you know, education. It was about getting hooked up to maintain wealth or get to the next stratosphere of wealth, which connects directly into internships and networking. Talk about that, because that should be a class and a degree in of itself.
Absolutely. And I actually regret taking so many internships because, like I said, I've done ABC7 News Channel 8. I was on Amsterdam News, was one of the first Black-owned newspapers. I've been published in there. CBS Radio. Like I've been to all these internships, but they weren't. Get your job. If you go to college, get your job before you graduate, because they're not looking at you afterwards. And because I was so focused on the internship, I wasn't creating my portfolio. I wasn't networking. I was trying to get dollars to stay afloat. I had my little job that they gave. I worked in the bowling alley at college. Yeah, I would have to do that. But like I didn't get the full experience of, I feel like Howard, like a lot of people who pledge and all those different things, just being involved in networking, because when you leave, you need those connections to make these opportunities happen. You know, get involved in the alumni association, because like I just needed some video work done. I was like, I've been searching forever for Black people to do business with them and create. And I was like, why don't I just do an alumni thing on Facebook? And then they start coming out to work. So I was like, why not think about this sooner? You know what I'm saying? It's all about the network. So yeah, they are going to college. That's the only reason. Yeah, because I didn't have a job searching for me when I left.
I mean, that's one of the things that we are behind in. I mean, our elite Black families know that, but our average Black families don't. And then our counterparts, that's all they do. You see cats up in school and they're partying 24/7, but they come out, got the top gig, got the access to the entrepreneur, the startups in Silicon Valley. And you're like, man, dude, I rarely saw you in class, and now you making 6-7 figures?
Right.
What's the dealio? Because they were out with the cats who make it happen, and it wasn't about their acumen, it was about their connection. And then they learn their way up. So if we can teach our children more about that process, I think we will be better served, because college education now is just ridiculous in price. I mean, and it's going to be more exorbitantly more expensive, and the value is going to be less, because if you don't come out and you get that internship and work it into a job before you get out of school, you're going to have this boatload of 6-figure debt, and you ain't never going to get from underneath that rock.
If I got that 6-figure debt, I just told myself I'm not paying it until I can write a check for it.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, that's a phenomenon in of itself. I mean, I used to think $20,000 of student loans was a lot, but 6 figures is ridiculous.
Yeah. 113 did that. Well, it might be some additional interest on it, so I don't know.
Well, we'll show you how to, you know, take that debt and roll it into some business and get rid of it where you ain't never got to worry about it.
Hey, I will take all of that. Okay, I'll take it all. Right? And we don't have debt talk afterwards.
There we go. There we go. Man, yeah, man. There we go. Hey, I'm elated. I mean, it's fired up.
Yeah. I think. Yeah, and I think that's a good, you know, this is a good place to put a period on this conversation, you know. So TaNeshia, take your time to close out, you know, give all your contact information so people can contact you if they want to do business with you. And yeah, just go ahead and give us all that information. The information is in the description right now, but you know, as a teacher, I know that we have different types of learners. We have visual learners, we have auditory learners, you know, we have kinesthetic learners. So I have it written for the visual, so go ahead and say it for the auditory.
Wait. SAT or kinesthetic, what's that?
Kinesthetic is movement, you know, so they, you know, you gotta, you know, you learn best by getting up and moving, or you know, something.
Yeah, you know, man, you went over my head with that one, Professor.
That's a new one.
You know, yeah.
I was at math, not English.
Yeah, so I'm glad. Yes, I'm glad. See, there you go. You know, I had to get even with y'all talking all this. You know, throwing all this insurance jargon around. You know, I had to get y'all back. You know, with some education lingo.
Floor's all yours, TaNeshia. Floor's all yours.
So again, my name is TaNeshia Reed, the Legacy Builder. You can follow me on Instagram at the Legacy Builder. I actually have a Twitter now. It's for the number 4 Legacy Builders, but this might took my name. Like, then you can go to my IG for the business, which is Brokerage Insure, the number 4 Life. It's a little sad, but it's good. I need a little love on that page. And then the website is www.truckersinsure, the number 4 Life. And you can go and set your consultations up on there. My number also is 678-813-3388. If you ring directly, that's funny because at one point, I want to tell you DJ. I want to tell you how you ever made cold calls and you like kind of hope that people just did answer the phone, like slightly, like you want them to answer the phone, but you like, do I really feel like this man? You ever had that experience with like, they don't answer, I might be okay, but you made the call for the day. Like I made the call that I was supposed to make.
Right.
It's so weird right now. I be so pressed to answer the phone, like somebody calling. I can't wait. Look, what you need? I got you. You know, and I know that that's exactly where I want to be because. And before, I used to dread making phone cold calls, reaching out to people, picking up the phone, sending them the voicemail. If they really wanted, they'd leave a voicemail, you know. But now it's like I'm turned up. So
Fired up. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. Yeah, yeah. So thanks again for coming on and, you know, joining us. You know, sharing this wealth of information and all those jewels that you dropped for, you know, our people, you know, who want to you know, get into this business and get into this niche. It sounds like you're going to be the pioneer or the trailblazer of this specified niche here. You know, so yeah. So we're anticipating big things for you. Yep. You know, so of course that's you know, that's the legacy builders information. Our information is, you know, 7 spheres of money on everything: YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Our website is DJTheMoneyCoach.com. Phone number is 866-395-3042, 866-395-3042, and you can contact us by email, nick@djthemoneycoach.com. So TaNeshia, the way we always close out all of our programs, you know, webinars and shows, we say, We wish you a pom-pom lifestyle. That's plenty of money, peace of mind, and come join us on the beaches of the World Club. So until next time, take care, stay healthy. We'll see you on the next program. Peace.